This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I am one of your hosts, Tom.
And I am Tim.
One of your hosts or the host? I switch it a lot lately.
Yeah.
My memory's starting to go.
I prefer I'm one of your hosts.
One of your hosts. It's
we're
more personal.
Yeah, we're one of your...
Yeah, it's like we're welcoming you into a nice, like a cocktail party we're throwing.
Yeah, otherwise one of the hosts, it's like, yeah, and you're not necessarily invited. We're the hosts of this party.
Right.
But like,
we're
not necessarily
hosts.
hosting you.
Yeah. Instead of doing live shows, we should throw ticketed cocktail parties.
You know what? There's a lot of
Galas.
money in ticketed cocktail parties. There's one that I've heard of, the Met Gala.
Yeah. We should launch a competitor to that. We'll do it the same
night.
Same night.
Yeah. Same night, different dresses is what we'll say.
Yeah. And ours will be at least 10% less to go. How much does it cost to go to the Met? Is it one of those things where it's like, because the people that are going are so rich that they don't charge them?
Probably.
Yeah. Or is it like, but you're expected to make like a big donation?
Is it for charity?
Oh, it might be for charity.
Hey, we all
ours will give 5% to charity.
At least.
After,
maybe 5.5%.
After expenses.
Yeah. No, and after we draw our cut.
Our VIG.
Yeah. Look, listen, charities.
If there's anything left over, 5% to charity.
Look, I'm not running a charity here.
Right.
I'm just trying to...
We're not running a charity. We're just hosting a cocktail party.
Yeah, a very fancy cocktail party.
Very expensive cocktail party.
With Rihanna.
Yeah, she'll be there. Big fan of the show.
Really big shoe. Okay, so this Ocean's 8.
Yeah.
I didn't know this, but the premise is they're pulling a heist during the Met Gala.
Oh.
But here's what I don't understand. Who's in this movie? Sandy Bullock?
Oh, I thought this was, they got all the guys from Ocean's 11. And it was
three
like
of them, unfortunately, have perished since
Yeah, and the rest were pulling like a Tootsie.
Wait, what do you mean?
They were all pretending to be women to get into the Met Gala.
No. What?
You sure?
Wait, so...
Like Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I know Brad Pitt.
Like, he comes up in like a big bouffant wig, and he's like, "Oh, I think I have a ticket. I seem to have misplaced my ticket."
You thought this was the plot of Ocean's 8?
Yeah.
That it's Brad Pitt in a wig?
Yeah, and then...
As Danny Ocean himself.
No, Danny Ocean's Clooney.
I've never
And then
seen...
Clooney comes up, and he's like, "Oh, I'm very sorry, my friend forgot her ticket. I have them here." But they're counterfeits. They're forgeries.
I think what you're doing now is wrong.
What? They're the ones who made the movie.
No, this isn't. It's a whole different movie. I've never seen any of the Ocean's movies. Tom.
Okay.
But I always assumed I wouldn't like them.
Yeah. No,
Like
I think
a
you'd like them.
heist.
It's a heist movie with just a bunch of charming guys.
Yeah.
And
Tom,
it's Steven
I'm on
Soderbergh.
record. I love charming men.
Yeah.
I'm charmed by them.
Tim and
Hey,
George
charming women too.
Yeah.
Charmed by them as well. It's right in the title.
Well, Sandy Bullock's playing George Clooney's sister, not real life sister.
Debbie Ocean.
He's not playing. She's not playing. I should be clear. She is not playing the sister of George Clooney in the movie.
Well, you don't know that.
I
You
do
haven't
know
seen the
that
movie.
she's not.
All right, so you got Sandy Bullock.
Uh-huh.
You got Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
You got Annie Hathaway, little Annie Hathaway.
She's the bad guy. She's the one they're pulling the scam on.
Yeah, Daphne Kluger, the target of the heist.
Oh, okay. When you said that name, I was like, is that a celebrity I'm supposed to know?
You also got Rihanna. You got HBC, Helena Bonham Carter. But what I'm saying is this boggles the mind here, because if they're pulling a heist at the Met Gala,
Yeah.
is there a Rihanna at the Met Gala there?
Oh, man.
Right? Because, when you think the Met Gala,
Yeah,
who's the one person that you think is definitely going to be there?
Exactly, Rihanna.
Rihanna.
So are they going to have a Last Action Hero situation where the fake Rihanna meets the real Rihanna?
You know what? We're joking about this, Tom, and we like to have a laugh often on this show. But let's get serious for 1 second here.
Okay.
It is my understanding that in one of the previous Ocean's movies.
Mm-hmm.
There's Julia Roberts plays a woman that looks like Julia Roberts, and the real Julia Roberts factors into
Is that
it
true?
at some point. Yeah.
I never
I
saw...
think Nick, our intrepid engineer, but I don't want to reduce him to just that. But he's a great man, member of the Pod Squad here. He's nodding.
Yes.
So he has seen one of these movies. I think that was probably in 12 or 13, right? When they started to run out of
I
ideas.
only
maybe.
saw 11,
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Huh.
I've only seen 11 movies in my life, Tom.
That's not true.
It's true.
It's not true.
E.T.
I don't know if you've ever even seen E.T.
I've seen E.T. I watched it the other day.
I don't
it
think
was
I've
the
ever
11th.
seen E.T.
Tom, you're gonna
Or
love
like
it.
not in whole.
You're gonna love it. This one kid calls his brother penis breath.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Do you know the full implication of that?
I don't think so.
Right? Like, well, how do you get penis breath? By having penises in his mouth.
Yeah. Which, no kids.
No kid should be
Yeah.
doing. Is that the message of the movie? Is that what it ends on?
It's just like you shouldn't say mean things to your brother.
Okay, that's the message of the movie?
Yeah. Fight Club I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
I've seen Fight Club 8 times.
No, I've seen all these movies many times.
Oh,
Except for
okay.
E.T., I just watched it for the first time the other day. I'll reveal the other 9 movies.
Well, oh man, what a great hook to keep people
throughout the show.
intrigued,
Yeah.
at least long enough to listen to the ad.
Tom, you're drinking a Cocoa Nut Rita
Yes.
from
This
Bud
is
Light.
not an ad. This is not a sponsor. It's from Bud Light Lime.
Yeah, but is there lime in there?
No, but Bud Light Lime somehow is like its own brand that has sub-products that don't have lime, or maybe even Bud Light in them. I don't know.
Hey, man, that's corporate America for you, huh?
Yeah, you're telling me. Yeah, Tim, I got this. We went to the store. We went to the bodega just before. And I got this coconut margarita, Bud Light Lime. And
I begged you as a friend. It's like, Tom, you don't have to do this.
you really did. You know what?
I was pleading with you in the bodega. Just like, please don't do
put
this.
it back.
Oh, come on, put it back.
And then you were insisting to the man at the counter not to sell it to me.
Yeah.
You're like, if you sell it to this man, you've lost yourself a customer.
Yeah.
And I said, well, if you don't sell to me, you've lost yourself a customer, which would be true.
Yeah. Well, I'll get my vape juice somewhere else.
This tastes like drinking vape juice. Like, I've never done that, but that is what I could imagine. Like, it tastes like if you could somehow like cold brew like scratch and sniff stickers. Like if you took like a bunch of coconut scratch and sniff stickers and put them in a jar with Bud Light and kept them in there for a week.
Yeah. It's a tall boy, too.
It
So
is
you
a
get
tall
a lot
boy.
of that flavor.
And that's why I said to the guy, I said, hey, a tall boy for a tall boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He said, all right, sir, please, just the transaction's done. Please leave.
Yeah.
But yeah, it really tastes like...
you managed to upset both me and the proprietor of the establishment.
He apologized to you for not listening.
Exactly.
Yeah, it tastes like garbage. It tastes horrible.
Well, I literally begged you not to drink it, Tom. And I think things are only going to get worse from here because it's 8% alcohol.
Yeah, it contains alcohol, and it contains 8% alcohol.
Yeah.
And it's pretty big. I saw somebody today walking down the street wearing, these shirts where it says like a name and a name and a name.
Yeah.
Where'd that come
It
from?
started with the Beatles, I think,
Yeah.
right? John and Paul and George and Ringo.
What didn't?
Everything starts with the Beatles.
Yeah,
Man.
rock and roll.
Tom, are you familiar with the Fab Four?
Yeah.
The lads from Liverpool?
Mm-hmm. The Lovable Lads, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the Monkees?
Yeah.
They were a take on them.
Yeah, it was a pretty savvy take.
Um,
You know what? I don't believe these people. I just can't believe these people that go out there and they're like, the Monkees are actually better than the Beatles.
Nobody says
Yeah,
that.
no, it's become
The Monkees are better than people give them credit for.
No. It's a thing out there where they're like,
come on,
because they did have like a wider variety of songwriters there, very talented songwriters,
right?
In the early years, and then they got like really experimental, like probably more experimental than the Beatles did, because like who gives a shit what the Monkees were doing?
Yeah, but also who would give the Monkees like money to be experimental?
Whoever financed Head. You ever see that?
No.
You ever hear that soundtrack?
No.
It's pretty good. Anyway, the Monkees are better than the Beatles, is what I figured out.
At the end of the day,
Yeah.
I was talking about. I saw this person wearing a shirt. They were wearing one of those shirts that have the names, the name shirts that everybody knows and loves. But it was Will and Grace shirt.
Okay.
And it was in the font of Will and Grace, and it said Will and Grace and Jack and what's the other character? Diane.
That's not it. Jack and Diane is just my favorite.
No,
Johnny
but
Krieger song.
what's her name? Very funny lady.
Yeah. Not very funny on that show. Karen.
Yeah. It had all those names. Will and Grace and Karen and Jack.
Mm-hmm.
In the Will and Grace font.
Mm-hmm.
And then underneath that, in slightly smaller font, it had the Will and Grace logo, which are the words Will and Grace. And it made me very upset.
Why?
Because you don't need the logo for Will and Grace.
That's how you know it's official.
No, I don't care about official. I would respect the person more if it was a bootleg shirt.
Yeah, that's true.
Think about how much cooler the kids that had the Black Bart shirts were than the kids who had the official Simpson shirts.
Yeah, but then turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
There were the kids that had the real Michael Jordan jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was me, who had...
Michael Gordon.
No, my parents knew that like I didn't actually really care about basketball.
Right.
And so they like had a mock-up of it made at the Sport
Yeah,
Shack. Sport Shack in town where you can
You would get the
names.
uniforms for like
Exactly. So
Little League and stuff.
Yeah, so they just got me like a a tank top there and put Jordan 23 and Bulls on the front. And I was just like, I'm just not
Is
gonna
the
wear
word
this.
Bulls or like a picture of Bulls?
No, Bulls, like the Chicago Bulls.
okay, yeah.
Believe it or not, Tom, the Chicago Bulls wore jerseys that said Bulls on them.
Okay.
So anyway, I had a bootleg, and that did not make me cooler.
Yeah. Did you get bullied for that?
Nah, it's pretty tough.
Yeah. I got like kind of bullied. I had like it's very similarly, I wanted a starter jacket.
Yeah.
And I wanted a San Jose Sharks starter jacket.
Yeah, you want to know why, Tom?
Because it had a cool logo.
Teal.
Yeah, and
Teal
it was teal.
in.
Yeah.
Tom, I got a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket.
There you go.
Because of teal. It was 1996 or 1995.
Yeah.
Teal was in.
Hey, the
What
kids
was on
love
the tip
teal.
of everybody's tongue? Teal.
Yeah. What was the coolest team color? Teal. I've never watched a hockey game in my life. That's not true. I've been to hockey games. I've played in hockey games. That's not true.
I've played in the NHL.
But I have not currently, nor have I ever been a fan of the sport hockey.
Right. I'm sorry.
Nor have I ever been to San Jose or have any connection to the city of San Jose.
Right.
But I wanted a San Jose starter jacket.
You know a guy named Joe, and in Spanish that's Jose.
Yeah, it's true. But I didn't know him at the time. So I wanted this, and I got like it was licensed, but it was not a starter jacket, but it
Right.
was a similar style. But you know what? Actually, the thing that I hated most about it was that it was like just kind of like a black jacket. It was in that starter jacket style, but it was a black jacket with the logo. And it's like, I want a teal jacket.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks. Meet the Fockers. That's another movie I've seen.
Tim, what are we talking about this week?
Grift.
Grifts.
The Grifts grifting.
Grifting, baby.
Tom?
Pulling confidence tricks.
Yes. Tom, I was going to ask you,
Yeah.
what's the difference between a grift and a con?
I don't think there is a big difference. I think that they're synonyms.
Yeah.
A confidence trick is a grift.
Right.
And a grift is a confidence trick.
Yeah. I mean, I know a grift is defined as a petty swindle. So I always
think
think
grifts are more petty.
Yeah, like
smaller.
more low level, right? Like you're never going to have a long grift, but you'll have a long con.
Exactly.
But either way, peas in a pod.
Like, you can get grifted at the carnival, but you can't get conned at the carnival.
Right.
Unless you join the carnival, the biggest con of them all.
Yeah. Carnies all got conned, but then they turn into grifters.
Right.
People who get conned usually turn to a life of grifting.
Yes. Once they see how easy it is.
Right.
Although this... So
is grifting a gateway to cons? Probably, right?
Oh, absolutely. Grifting is like, I would think like a grift is a misdemeanor and a con is a felony.
Right. Okay.
All
right.
right. We'll see you next week.
Yep.
Yeah, we were talking about, because so there was what was this article in this week?
Oh, who knows? The New Yorker?
Yeah.
No. New York Magazine, I think.
Yeah, some magazine.
Every couple of years,
Yeah.
there's a new story about a new grifter.
Yeah.
And everybody goes nuts about it.
Right.
And it's somebody pulling the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, remember the hipster grifter?
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
The hipster grifter, I was looking that up today during my research. And that was like a long time ago now.
It was like, what, 2009?
No, it was like 2006.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember there was a time where
It was more than 10 years ago.
She would respond to my tweets pretty much.
Why were you tweeting at her?
No. Like, I wasn't tweeting at her.
Oh, she was lining you up to be the next grift.
Yeah. And I was just like, who is this? And then I did some research, and I was like, oh, the hipster grifter. Oh, this is just some idiot that, like, conned men into giving her money. I don't understand. Like, all right.
Yeah. And I think that's what made her a grifter and not a con artist, because she was like grifting. She was, the hipster grifter. She was in Williamsburg grifting like, 24-year-olds.
Right.
So,
which I don't think are the best marks. Well, maybe a good mark for a grift,
but
not a
a
good
con.
mark for a con. Yeah.
Right. And that was the thing. She was just kind of like meeting guys at bars and stuff and being like, hey, like, why don't I come back to your place?
Right.
And then she wasn't even like, it wasn't like she was like stealing out of their wallets or whatever. It was always a like, oh, my card's not working.
Right.
Can you pay for this, and then I'll pay you back? Well, actually, I have one of the would you like me to read one of the examples?
This is the hipster grifter from over a decade ago.
Yes. In the fall, she told Mr. Hansen that she was finally able to access the money that she hadn't been able to because of the previous fraud on her checking account. So she was claiming somebody was out there.
Her checking account.
That somebody was pulling grifts on her.
Right.
She was the victim, not the perpetrator.
I'm a classic victim of a grift.
Yeah.
This makes my grift all the more believable.
Well, she wouldn't say that out loud.
This is why I'm not a good grifter, Tom.
Right. You always say
I always
plans
tell her,
out loud.
yeah, I always say like, all right, well, I've finished the approach because I've contacted you, the victim, and now I'll enter into the build-up where you, the victim, given an opportunity to profit from this scheme.
Oh, you have like a whole, you have the steps?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
Tom, look.
I'm going to want to hear more about this in a moment.
Yeah.
Um,
But I always say the steps out loud, is what I'm saying.
Right.
And like, rule one of grifting.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
She started
The
depositing.
Sting, Tom. That's a movie that I haven't seen, but I've always wanted to because I thought it would
Well,
teach
that's
me
about
more
a sting operation.
Yeah, which is kind of like a grift.
No. Sting operation's different than a grift.
How so? It's
What?
just on the side of justice.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. But like, I feel like
It's a white hat version of a grift, I thought.
yeah. I mean, I always think of a sting operation as being like kind of one and done, in and out. I'm mostly thinking
is a
about
grift,
when
then?
they catch Johns.
that's
with
true.
prostitutes. Like that's a classic sting operation.
Right. And they put their pictures in the newspaper before they're even convicted. This
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
She started depositing all these checks into my account, literally depositing $300, $500, $1,100 at a time, he said.
This is Mr. Hansen.
This is Mr. Hansen.
Okay.
They keep giving me money whenever I want to withdraw. She kept saying she couldn't use her ATM card, telling me, you cash these checks and give me the money. One day I hand them a check for $1,200 and I asked to tell her, are these good? I assume they are because you guys keep giving me money and you're a bank, but can you just check on this? And he tells me they're good. This went on for about a week and a half for a total of $10,600 before the bank belatedly realized the checks were written from an account that wasn't even open.
See, banks, like, Tom, you write a check,
Yeah.
there's just a bunch of numbers on the bottom.
Yeah.
And the banks are just like immediately like,
All
cool,
right.
yep,
I guess so.
get the money from the vault and put it in this guy's name. The banks don't know what they're doing. Is this what Occupy Wall Street was about?
More or less. You know that you can, like, I could take a napkin right now, a cocktail napkin.
All right, of which there are many.
Yeah. Well, Tim, I'm having a coconut Rita.
Yeah.
Do you know? All right, put a pin in the cocktail napkin thing.
Okay.
I
You
wanna
want me
talk
to take
about
a note?
Yeah, Tim, take a note. Do you know?
Well, while we're on that, because I'm just adding to my list, Cocktail, one of the 11 movies I've seen.
I don't think you've seen cocktail.
Yeah, Kokomo is in it.
That's true.
How would I know that?
Yeah, well.
It's the 4th movie on my only 11 movies I've ever seen. All right, so cocktail napkin.
Cocktail napkin. Coconuts are nuts. Like, they're nuts.
You asking or telling?
Both, I think.
I don't think they are. No.
I saw a warning on a thing, and it said, contains tree nuts, coconuts.
Well, I guess they do.
Why else would they be called cocoa nuts? And they do come from a tree, a coconut tree.
Technically speaking, Tom, botanists classify the coconut as a drupe,
Tim,
not a nut. A drupe is a fleshy fruit enclosing a hard-shelled stone or seed composed of
a stone.
Yeah, so no, it's not, apparently.
Tim, you know,
and I got this from coconutoilcentral.com.
You know as well as I do that I don't give a shit about what botanists think.
I got this from coconutoilcentral.com/is a coconut a fruit.html.
Well, I'm not asking if it's a fruit. I'm asking if it's a nut. They're saying that there are stones in coconuts.
Oh, now, you know
well,
what?
if you get coconuts from an irreputable source.
Yeah, they keep telling me that it's a drupe.
What the hell does that even mean?
D-R-U-P-E.
D-R-U-P-E.
And I'm getting this straight from everydaymysteries.com.
Wow. So
Is a
coconuts are an
coconut
everyday
a fruit, nut, or
Oh,
seed?
I thought you were saying coconuts are an everyday mystery.
Well, yeah,
In
I
a
guess
lot
so.
of ways they are.
Yeah.
Huh.
When using very loose definitions, Tom, the coconut can be all three, a fruit, a nut, and a seed, which this is the least helpful answer to a question I've ever heard.
Wait,
You know what?
They're not
a question
seeds.
with this kind of answer
Uh-huh.
is always the most boring question. Like, it's always the most boring. It's like, by the time you get to the what you
just
want to know,
figure
you're
it
just
out,
like,
botanist.
forget it. I don't even care that much. Just tell me if it's a nut or not. Yes or no. Well, it's complicated. Shut up.
I don't think that they're seeds. If I plant a coconut, you're telling me a coconut tree is going to grow out of that?
Apparently.
That sounds like horse shit. There's
I don't
nothing
know.
inside a coconut.
Take it up with the botanists. Yeah, like anybody ever wants to talk to a botanist.
Yeah, like they want to hear it.
Yeah. Oh, a botanist. Like, I'm busy with my plants. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't.
Oh,
I
I'm
can't.
busy sniffing the leaves.
I can't come to the door right now. I'm sniffing the leaves on my plants that I'm growing in my.
Creeps.
Gross cocktail napkin. I've written down in my notes.
Yes,
Down cocktail.
thank
napkin.
you.
Yeah.
You can write. I could take one of these cocktail napkins right now, and I could write my bank account number on the bottom of it and put to Tim, $10,000 signed Tom,
Right.
and that's a legal check.
Yeah, except that you don't have $10,000.
I got 10 large.
In one account?
Passing a lot of phony. Yeah, Tim, my new girlfriend. She's been giving me all these checks to deposit for her.
Nice.
Yeah.
She's
well, she has a lot of problems with her ATM account. She tweeted at me. She has a lot of problems with her ATM account. So
she sounds lovely.
So I've been depositing her checks for her.
Right. So that's what the hipster grifter did?
Yeah, pretty much she was just like sleeping with dudes and then being like having some kind of a... I mean, that's like a pretty good grift because she was passing bad checks, but she was having some knucklehead do it for her, you know?
Yeah.
Like he'd be the one arrested at the bank. You know, at the bank nowadays, you can't deposit money into somebody else's account.
Could you ever?
You used to be able to, and that was like a great way to do crime.
Tell me more. This sounds like a grift.
Because basically...
This is in line with the subject of this week's episode.
So, like, let's say I wanted to buy drugs from you, and not, like, a small amount of drugs. Like I wanted to sell drugs for my own redistribution.
Right.
To my clients.
So I'm selling you a case of drugs?
Yeah, one case of drugs.
Right.
Maybe even
two cases of
if
drugs.
There's, like, a big festival going on that weekend that I need to supply.
Exactly. And I have, you don't want to know the hookups I have.
Yeah.
Right. So I have multiple cases,
right,
of which I'm going to sell you one or maybe two.
So what am I going to do? I'm going to give you, money in a suitcase like an idiot.
I mean, why not? Because I could just go out and spend that money.
Carrying a suitcase around?
I'd put the suitcase in my apartment, I think, is what I'd do. I'd transfer some of the bills into my wallet. So I'd have a reasonable amount of money on me. Well, and here's the key. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't tell anybody that I had the suitcase full of the money in my apartment. That way they wouldn't know about it.
Right. Good. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah. So that's my grift.
Well,
get large sums of money from people and then don't tell people that you have it.
A lot of drug dealers.
And then take it out in small amounts and spend it on goods and services.
Candies.
Yeah, the Dwayne Reed.
Passing $20 at a time at Dwayne Reed.
Dwayne Reed, Walgreens.
Yeah.
And CVS.
If they have seasonal candy, you can get away with pushing a lot more through there.
Exactly, because they're like, oh, he's just taking advantage.
Well, yeah, we're not going to have these, Reese's shaped like an egg for very
That's
much
exactly
longer.
what I was thinking, Tom.
That's why
the
he's
Reese's
got to stock up.
Yeah. And to be honest, Tom, I'm stocking up on those anyway, not just to launder money.
Right.
Because I'm not flipping them.
Yeah. Well, so this is a way to, not launder money. What you would do is, if I want to buy, $10,000 of drugs from you.
Right.
I would just go to the bank and be like, hi, here's $10,000 in cash in 10 $1,000 bills. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to put this in Tim's account.
Right.
And then you could just
The joke's on you.
What?
Because I've already alerted them. This is a sting.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Tom.
I walked right into it.
Sorry, I did not even have these cases of drugs. I've been working with the feds the whole time.
Well,
I'm a regular Tim Allen.
The joke's on you because it's counterfeit money I'm giving the bank. So I can't even get in trouble because get in trouble for what? All I gave you was paper.
Yeah.
It's counterfeit money that is disappearing ink.
Oh, so they're just like, you were
they're
just
like,
I
what?
Just gave, yeah,
it's just blank pieces of paper. I'm like, yeah, good luck finding a jury that's going to convict me.
Yeah. By the way, it was all a joke.
Yeah, it was all a prank for my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was just showing how gullible you idiots at the bank are. You walked right into it. And then we put the bank on trial, Tom.
Yeah.
This is what Occupy Wall Street was about, right?
Do you think Occupy Wall Street is a movie? Is this one of the movies you've seen?
No, but I have seen...
Money.
Cocktail. Oh, I already said cocktail.
Yeah, Tim. And cocktail has nothing to do with money, except it's what you need to get some cocktails.
Yeah, how do you think they were paying Tom Cruise for the drinks, you idiot?
That's very true. I just paid, I guess not a hefty sum for this cocktail. Yeah. I don't know if I would classify this as a cocktail.
The Coconut Rita?
The Coconut Rita.
And it clarifies under Coconut Margarita.
Yeah. And then it coconuts above it. It clarifies above it. Bud Light Lime.
Yeah. Wow.
And that's got a bunch of pictures of coconuts on it. You know what? I think I misread coconut margarita as a pina colada.
Yeah.
I didn't misread it. I guess I thought that's
Those
what it
words
was.
look nothing alike.
Yeah. So people would. So if I deposited like $10,000 for drugs into your account, then you could just check like the app on your phone and be like, "Oh, cool, the money's there." And now when we're meeting up, there's like no money exchanged.
Right.
So, you can't really get in trouble, maybe? I don't know. Something like that.
It seems to me like you have all your facts wrong here.
Or I think it was like if you were buying drugs.
Like, why couldn't you just give me
I think
check, before we meet up?
I think it was in situations where you weren't meeting up, where like maybe you were shipping me drugs. So instead of wiring you the money, because they're keeping an eye on wires. Because here's the
would you ever walk into a Western Union and do business there?
Well, I was going to say the thing about
I feel like
wires,
you got cameras on you the whole time.
the thing about wires is 90% of wires are cons in some way,
Yo, yeah.
right?
Especially in 2018.
Yeah.
If anybody needs you to wire something, it's like, no, this is pretty accessible to most people.
Yeah. Well, the only reason to wire money is if you're the victim of a con.
Right.
So they keep an eye on that. So this is a way to like kind of not leave a paper trail.
Do they keep an eye on it and like prosecute, or do they just go like, another one?
No,
Another one got scammed.
No, because think about how often
Add that to the statistics.
Think about how often you hear about wire fraud. You hear about wire fraud more often than you hear about wire transfers.
Yeah, that's true. Although, why would they report on wire transfers? Just like this grandmother sent $25 to her grandson for his birthday. They wouldn't put that in the newspaper.
His couple's college-age son in Argentina needed the $100, which they wired him.
I mean, what's he doing in Argentina?
Drugs.
Probably
Being a mule, being a drug mule.
Hey, happens to the best of us inadvertently. That's where I got all those cases of drugs I was selling you.
Well, and that's why you're doing the right thing, trying to get rid of them.
Yeah. Unloading them.
Yeah.
Ant-Man was another movie that I saw, Tom, in the theater. All right, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
There's this guy.
Yeah.
Here we are. What everybody's waiting for. Edward H. Smith. He wrote a book called Confessions of a Confidence Man.
Yeah.
Con man. He's a con man.
Yeah. I'd like to be a confidence man, just a man with some confidence.
You and I both, man. And I think, like, once you get confidence, the world is your oyster.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you convince anybody of anything. You get everybody's money through these confidence games. Confidence, what are they?
Confidence tricks.
Tricks. No, that's not what it is.
Yeah.
So Eddie Smith, he wrote this book,
Mm-hmm.
and he listed the 6 definite steps or stages of growth of a confidence game.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, Tom, some of these may be omitted.
What do you mean they may be omitted?
Depending on how savvy you are.
Oh,
you can skip over some
yeah,
of these.
if you got
like
a
the
real...
stages of grief, Tom, I always skip over denial.
Okay.
I was
You
like,
accept it right away.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I have eyes.
Yeah.
Read the death warrant.
Death warrant? Who are you grieving?
All right, so number 1, the foundation work.
Okay.
That's in advance of the confidence game. You might have to hire some assistants. You might need accomplices. Is what what Johnny Law would call them.
Yeah.
But like, let's say you're running like a 3-card Monty.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna want some
accomplices in there,
and we'll get to that. Exactly what that is. Number 2 is the approach.
Okay.
It's where you go out looking for pigeons, Tom. Marks.
Okay.
You see somebody and you're just like, this guy's a goddamned rube.
Right.
And I'm gonna take him.
I'm gonna sell him these pigeons, and he's
No.
what?
No. The person himself, the victim,
Uh-huh.
is a pigeon.
Oh, well, don't pick on
'Cause
pigeons. They don't even have any money to begin with. Most of them. Unless it's like a carrier pigeon and he's flying money somewhere.
Yeah, you'd
Then
be a
sure.
fool. How do carrier pigeons work? Like they can only go between two places, right?
I think so. Like I don't think you can like tell them
Yeah,
like
for instance,
across street.
Yeah, right. Because a pigeon doesn't understand that an address.
No, and I think like
How the hell do you train a carrier pigeon?
I imagine
You can't, like,
you
fly
lose a lot
along-
of pigeons in the
Yeah.
process.
You
I
just
think-
see where it goes, and then
I think you
just-
probably just let a bunch of pigeons go, and you hope that like one or two come back, and you're like, all right, I can work with this.
Yeah, but how do you know where they went?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, maybe in the beginning they go.
Do you put peanut butter like on a ledge of a different building and put birdseed in the peanut butter?
I think maybe in the beginning, like hopefully they don't go far enough that you can't see them anymore.
It's fine.
And you see like, oh, they went to that building over there. That's where the dead drop will be.
Like always.
Yeah.
It just seems like, because you can't, Tom, you can't talk to a pigeon.
You can, but they won't listen.
Yeah, they don't really understand. So you contact the victim,
Mhm.
right?
The approach.
Yeah. And it's just like, hey, I know you.
Hey, you want to be a victim?
No.
What?
Edward Smith specifically says, don't ask if they want to be a victim.
Okay, yeah, because they'll probably always say no.
Yeah, probably don't even, if possible, don't use the word victim
Right.
at all.
Unless you're like, I'm a victim.
Yeah. Call him friend or
Hey, friend.
buddy
Yeah,
or pal
Mhm.
or chief
yeah,
or boss.
yeah. Or amigo.
Yeah, or tiny if he's a real big guy.
Yeah.
That's a good laugh
Or
for
big
everybody.
guy if he's a real tiny guy.
Yeah. After that,
Mm-hmm.
it's the build-up, Tom. This is when you get your pigeon and you give him an opportunity to profit from some sort of scheme.
Yeah.
So you encourage him. You play on his greed,
Yeah.
and you want to impede their rational judgment. You want to appeal to their basest instinct.
Their lizard brain.
Exactly.
Mhm.
This is why you want a dumb person.
Yeah.
That's why you see a Tom Reynolds walking by. You're
Hey.
like, this guy looks like a scoundrel who is just trying to keep it together here.
As dumb as a pigeon.
Right. Dumb as a pigeon that you attached a note to and just never came back.
Right. You see him walking down the street with a coconut Rita in a brown paper bag, and you think, that's my mark.
Yeah. Probably.
Tim, I've drank like
Tommy,
maybe
you got grifted on the way over here.
Yeah.
The Bud Light Corporation,
I've drank
Anheuser Busch took you for $3.
I've drank like a sixth of this, maybe an eighth, and I feel very drunk and also like I'm gonna puke.
Yeah, keep drinking it.
Well, I bought it, so I will.
After that, the payoff or the convincer comes in, Tom, and this is what you set the stage for in the foundation work.
Mm-hmm.
The victim receives a small payout as a demonstration of the scheme's effectiveness.
Yeah, you gotta, because these pigeons, they're always like, they always think, this is what you gotta find in a mark. You gotta find a guy that thinks he's smart.
Yeah,
And
he's in on it. Oh,
Yeah.
I know there's scams out there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the scammer, not the scammed.
Right.
I'm
And
going to be
then
the grifter, not the grifted.
you give them a little taste, and all of a sudden they're like, duh. Like, oh, yeah, no, I want more. The
They all
greed
get
takes-
hot and they get all,
Yeah.
their brain stops where
Well, and especially if you're telling them, like, oh, I'm letting you in on this, we're pulling a grift on somebody else. Then they're like, yeah, that idiot.
Right. So you get them in. If it's like a gambling thing, like a 3-card money,
Mm-hmm.
you let them win a few times.
Yeah.
Small bets.
Mm-hmm.
In a stock market, Tom, you give them fake dividends. The Bernie Madoff
Yeah.
grift, Be like, oh, yeah, no, you got to return. Hey, look, here's your money. Here's the thing about grifting, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
You got to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm. It's true. You can't just take all the grift.
I feel like
profits.
that's probably what the hipster grifter did. I think probably like the first check cleared no problem.
No, from what I understand, she was like a real bad grifter.
Was she really pretty?
Not in my estimation, but I could see how other people would think she was pretty.
Oh, Tom.
Well, she was-
Oh, I see. Not your type.
Not my.
The grifting type is not your type.
She was like very hipstery, like a lot of tattoos and stuff like that.
A dangerous woman.
A dangerous woman, yeah. Well, and she, according to these tales, would come on very strong, like immediately.
Okay.
Because the way she was found out was that she got like a legit job at Vice, and
The media company.
the media company, and she struck up a conversation with like a worker there. And the worker about like, some mutual interest or whatever. And then like she started IMing him and he was like, yeah, we were IMing for like a half hour. And like it started like she was getting hot and heavy already about this stuff. And he was like,
sex-wise are you talking
sex-wise.
about? Okay.
And he was like,
Tom, are you not sex positive? Oh, we're going to have problems on the internet.
no. And well, I'm not sex positive when it comes to grifts, Tim.
Tom, you got to be sex positive when it comes to anything.
Uh,
Oh, God, we're going to hear it. We're going to hear it on Reddit.com. I'll tell you that much.
That is not a sex positive place. Tim, I think you've been misled. Oh boy, we're going to hear from r/incel.
We've gone this long without mentioning r/incel, and here you go. It's all blown to shit.
Well, this is the last episode. No, she was, and the dude was into it. The dude, like, to his credit, he wasn't like, oh, and I smelled a stinker or something. He was like, oh, I was like,
Smelled a rat. Tom, you don't smell a stinker. Everybody smells a stinker. It's when it's
well, a stinker stinks.
yeah, that's true.
Not a little stinker. There's a big stinker.
A
you
little
smelled.
stinker's kind of adorable.
Yeah, until you get too close and you smell the stink on him.
Yeah, but mostly you just see him licking that big lollipop. You're like, what did I do? It's like, you know what you did.
Yeah, you
It's
took
a
my
frog
wallet.
in your back pocket, and we all know it.
Yeah, you took my pocket watch.
Mm.
But he was like, oh, I was into this. She was like, hey, I think that's, I forget what it was. And he was like, oh, I was like, oh, cool. I'm going to like hang out with the girl who started working here today. And I'm going to have sex with her. Like she's blatantly saying like, hey, we should do it.
And in 2007,
Yeah.
at Vice, they were just like, hey, have sex on the desks.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah. Hey, we're a real, what would you call it?
Company.
A real company where our employees
They were-
have sex on the desk.
They were sex positive, Tom, unlike you.
And he was like, well, let me see he was probably looking for pictures of her, if anything.
Yeah.
And he Googled her, and all these things came up about her being a grifter. She was not using a fake name.
What? So there were already articles about
Yeah,
her?
there were already like warrants out for her. He literally found a wanted poster for her.
Nice.
And he like
Was it from an amusement park, though?
no,
'Cause those aren't
No,
real,
she was dressed in modern day dress. She
Oh,
wasn't
wow.
dressed like a cowboy. And like he went to Vice HR, and even Vice HR were like, you can't, you're
Can't
a
grift
grifter.
in here.
There was another person who said when she was employed, we found out she was calling up clubs saying she wanted to be on the list, was from Vice, and wanted to review the show. Weird, right? But not that insane for a young kid to do. Then we got a package from HBO with Flight of the Conchords DVDs that she had requested for review.
Grifting Flight of the Conchords? That's a
She was
low level.
grifting HBO for a DVD box
Man.
set.
I've grifted you into your mom's HBO Go password,
Right.
which I don't use. I pay for HBO Now.
You pay for HBO now?
I now pay for HBO Now.
You pay for HBO now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't, but I'm just saying that to cover myself.
To put the feds off off the scent.
My wife years ago
Mm-hmm.
was grifting HBO by downloading some episodes of, I think, the gals.
Arliss.
She loves Arliss. She's just like what's his name?
Robert Wool.
Robert Wool. Yeah, she just finds him so charming.
Yeah.
She's like, he's the voice of my generation. she's much older than I am.
She's much older. Yeah.
No,
she's a much older retired professional athlete.
She got a cease and desist letters from Time Warner or whatever. I don't know. They shut off her internet. That's why she had to marry me to use my internet.
to get back on the internet.
Yeah.
Huh.
After the.
Oh no, I was gonna finish. I wasn't done. So she was abusing her role to get swag and fucking with people we work with. Not
Stop.
cool.
Tom, enough with the cursing.
Then the staffer said,
We're not advice now, Tom. Enough with the cursing.
Then the staffer said Vice found out she had booked a table at the Box. I guess that's a hot club 12 years ago or whatever. For the surprise birthday party for the publisher of Vice. In the correspondence, she had been I'm emailing you from my personal email account because we are having server issues. Don't contact the publisher. It's a surprise.
Smart. A surprise party is a good cover for anything.
Yeah, but also, like, what a weird grift of, like, I'm going to throw up. She did a lot of grifts where it was just like, well, certainly you're going to get caught.
That's what it takes to be a grifter, Tom. It's the confidence, man. You have to have confidence that you're not going to get caught.
I guess, but like you should also like cover your tracks a little bit. Like, why was she saying? Why did she call this place and say like?
If you have a job at Vice, use your dang Vice email address to be.
Well, that's the thing. Why would you use your personal email and be like, "We're having a party for the publisher of Vice"? Be like, "We're having a party for the publisher of Marie Claire." Like, you make it all up. Why would you implicate your real job in that?
I don't know. Write what you know is what they say, Tom.
That's true. She was just following the first advice about writing. Write what you know.
Yeah. Are you done with the?
Yeah, I'm done. You can continue your steps.
Right, so after your mark, your pigeon, your rube gets his payoff, he's like, I got a taste of this, and it tastes great.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes like the finest
wine.
No.
Caviar.
Filet mignon.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
A petite filet.
Yeah. It's tender.
Mm-hmm. Where's that come from on the cow? The small of the back, you think? You used to work at a butcher shop. Where's the filet mignon come from?
The only thing I knew that was the T-bone
was from you.
Exactly. that was any cut that I butchered.
Right.
T-bone.
Well, I remember frequently on the board it was T-bone's T-bone was the special of the day.
No, the T-bone had on one side the strip steak and on the other side the fillet.
And in
on
the
either
middle,
side of
a bone.
A bone shaped like a T.
Yeah. And how would you guys shape the bones?
I mean, you melt down
just regular bones.
No, it was ceramic. Everything was ceramic there.
Wow.
You wouldn't use an actual bone, Tom. That's gross. That's an animal's bone.
Right. And ceramic, it's going to come right off the ceramic.
Exactly. It melts right up. That's what I say. After you pay him off, the hurrah, Tom. Mm-hmm. And this is a sudden crisis.
Do people have T-bones in them? Like, do I have a T-bone steak somewhere?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of steak you eat.
Well, I eat the bones usually.
You eat them whole because you're always so hungry.
No, I eat them whole, but then I pull the bone out.
Like riffraff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, we're both mammals. Yeah, but they're weird. Cows have, what, like 5 tummies?
You don't have to say tummy. It's gross.
What were you saying about the next step of the...
there's a sudden... It's the hurrah!
Yeah, hey, we did it. We pulled it off.
Yeah, no. No.
Okay.
It's a change of events that forces the victim to act immediately. So he's riding high with his little things, and this is the point where either your grift succeeds
Or fails.
or it fails. You have to be like, oh my God, you have to pour more money into this. You like, look, you've been winning. We hit a crisis. We need more money than you won, but like that will guarantee great results.
Yeah, but you're not going to believe what you get back.
Right.
The dividends.
And then there's the in and in.
As opposed to the in and out.
Yeah, no, this is in.
And
Keep
then
going
more
in.
in.
Yeah, just don't stop. Trudge ahead. Don't look back. A conspirator who is in on the con, but assumes the role of an interested bystander. This is what you've set up in your foundation work. You hired one of these guys.
Yeah.
He puts an amount of money into the same scheme as the victim.
So it makes the victim feel like,
yeah,
oh,
he's
okay.
it kind of greases the wheels a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy's doing it. This guy who just happened to be walking by wearing the same hat as me.
Right. Oh, that's an important thing, probably.
No, he actually advises that you wear different hats,
Okay.
but acknowledges that sometimes you'll forget and just wear the same kind of hat.
Oh, see, I would think it would be more of a camaraderie thing, like a guy walking down the street, he's like, hey, same hat. And then, you strike up a conversation.
Yeah, oh yeah, we do have the same hat. $10,000, please. And he'll be like, what's the situation? He pretends
No,
to
I'm
give you-
saying you have that guy wear the same hat as your mark.
How are you going to know what kind of hat your mark is wearing, Tom?
Well, how many hats has this guy got? By this time, you've made...
I don't know. He'd need a lot.
By this time, you've made a few contacts with this guy. You've seen some of, if not all of his hats.
I don't know, Tom. This could all be a matter of minutes on the street.
You're not.
We're talking grifts, not cons, you jackass.
You're not going to be able to pull either on a guy with a lot of hats. A guy with a lot of hats.
Oh yeah. Well, when you're
they've got
identifying
a real grasp
your
on
mark.
the world.
Yeah, pigeons don't have hats, Tom.
Well, they
a
might
pigeon
have
at most has one hat.
a dunce one.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Dunce
a dunce hat or like a propeller beanie.
Yeah. So once the conspirators in, that guy's gonna hand over his money.
Yeah.
And then you know what you do?
What?
You go, grifted, sucker.
Well,
and then
no,
then
not
you,
right away.
No, then you run.
Well, I mean, you're not going to have much of a head start.
Well, you get the bus
You're going to
schedule.
have 2 or 3. Oh, you get the bus schedule. Okay.
And then as soon as the bus comes, you know when it's about to go. You
Well,
jump
that's
on
still
the
going to
bus.
be tough to time. You're going to have to tell the guy, like, don't give me the money yet. Not yet. Not yet. Okay.
Yeah, that's
Now give me the money.
an experienced grifter will know that. Tom.
Yeah. Well, they'll be
You know
able to.
exactly what buttons to press. You know exactly what muscles to massage on this pigeon. You ever massage a pigeon, Tom? It always gets away.
What?
What?
I was reading about this woman grifters, lady grifters.
Mm-hmm. Well, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
it's well documented that you do not care for women.
It's not well documented, Tim. And I'm not
So
saying,
you're suspicious of all women.
I'm not saying I'm suspicious of
by
all
their
women or that
nature.
all women are grifters.
All right. Cool.
In fact, I had to go all the way back to the 18th century
I mean, you were talking about the hipster grifter.
to
That was
Liechtenstein
okay.
to find this grifter. She was known as the Golden Booze.
Booze, as in.
BOOS.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a ghost. She'd travel the countryside with a trunk she claimed was full of treasure,
Ooh.
which in the 18th century people
Yeah, they'll be like,
took
"Oh,
at
sure."
face. Yeah, I
She
mean, that's
said
how
it,
I bring
yeah.
my treasure around. She traveled the country. Yeah, I said that part. Whenever she'd stop, she'd ask her host to lock it up somewhere safe, like where they kept their valuables. So she'd be like, my valuables are in here. Can you lock this up wherever you keep your valuables? The next day, but the
Do you
trunk...
have any place where you would be able to keep your valuables?
Kind of, but I'm not going to reveal it. I have a
trying to
pretty
pull
good
it.
place, yeah.
Tom,
I don't have any valuables.
I feel like there are a lot. I know you pretty well.
I have a lot of costume jewelry.
I feel like you have a lot of secrets.
I have a decent amount.
I feel like you have multiple weapons stashed around your home.
No.
I feel like I'm not sure that it would be effective in protecting yourself against whatever you think is coming.
Uh-huh.
But I also think that you've secretly trained to like fight people off physically, and you don't want people to know that.
I got that when we lived together years ago. There was one night where I came home, and we had a first floor apartment, and we also had the basement.
Mm-hmm.
But our apartment was like an old ship.
Yeah, it was very creaky, and like you could like see through the floorboards a little bit.
So that was the thing. I could see through the floorboards, and I saw the lights were on downstairs. It was like 1 a.m. I think you were away. So I was like, oh no, I'm gonna have to kill an intruder. And I got out this knife I got in Thailand. That looks like something the Predator would have. I don't know how effective. I think it'd be very effective against like a prowler. But I think it would also like break and like also fatally injure me if I ever had to use it. But you know what? If that's how I have to die, that's how I have to die.
So you went down to the basement with this illegal weapon.
Yeah.
And what happened?
Oh, there was nobody down there. It was just our friend Amy had been using the basement earlier that day and left the light on. I texted her and was like, hey, were you at the apartment today? And she's like, oh, yeah, I think I left the light on. I was like, oh, okay.
Thank God. I almost had to kill somebody. I think you told me that story, and that's probably from like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I think
it wasn't that bad in the basement, but then when I had to open up the boiler room.
Yeah.
I
think
like,
you told me that story, and I was just like, hey, I don't think we should be roommates anymore, Tom. Just afraid of getting murdered.
Yeah, and I was like, I think we should board up the boiler room.
So the golden booze would be, she'd be like, put my
trunk in with your valuables. Yeah. In the, like the walk-in safe or whatever you got in your house, because it's
and of course this is an elephant's trunk.
No, it's like a luggage trunk.
Oh yeah.
How did it work? Ernie, that was her real name, had a little person accomplice who'd lie in wait within the trunk. I would think
his name would be Ernie.
Left alone, he'd emerge to rob the place. Both would make their getaway while her accomplice. So
how do they get out of the hiding place?
I guess it was like always a door that was like locked from the outside, and the little person could unlock from the inside. Yeah. But if it was a trunk big enough for him to fit in, I'd imagine that'd be a struggle to fill with treasure and then get out of there without making a lot of noise. Like any trunk I could fit in, I would have a hard time moving somewhere quietly. Yeah.
It's probably a trick trunk though.
Oh, like lighter than you would think? I guess it would have to be, I was going to say light enough for the golden booze to move around, but she might have had, like bellhops to it. Nobody knows what happened to the little person. But the woman was caught, and she confessed to 17 robberies, so they beheaded her.
Nice. Yeah. Tom, if I was very good friends with...
Imagine being beheaded for robbing rich people?
Yeah.
Well, stink.
Yeah, I think they happen to deserve it.
Well, you are frequently side with the bourgeoisie.
Yeah, that's why I was so active in Occupy Wall Street.
Let them eat. Oh, you were on the other side.
Yeah.
You were the one saying, let them eat cake. Let's behead them.
I was like, let's eat this cake. What side was the cake eater on?
I'm sure it was the rich people side, or at least the cake you would want.
I'll eat any cake, to be honest. I don't know. If you had a twin, wouldn't you just pull a lot of schemes?
I would hope so.
A lot of grifts.
Man, that would stink if I had a twin and they were like, oh, I don't really like grifting.
Yeah.
We're going to grift.
Gonna grift, you idiot.
Did you know, I was looking up like famous grifters. I had no idea that this was the case. There are two famous con men. This one guy, William McCloundy.
What?
Yeah, 1859 to 19 something. Nobody knows when he died. Convicted of selling the Brooklyn Bridge to a tourist. I didn't know that was a real thing. And then there was this other guy, George C. Parker. U.S. con man who sold New York monuments to tourists, including most famously the Brooklyn Bridge, which he sold twice a week for years.
Yeah, that's what they do. I got a bridge to sell you.
Twice a week he would sell the Brooklyn Bridge.
You've seen these tourists.
What
These goofballs.
How did they think this guy had the right to sell a bridge, and what did they think they were getting out of it? Who even wants a bridge? If somebody gave me the Brooklyn Bridge, I'd be like, I don't want this bridge. Now I'm going to have to be responsible for the upkeep?
I don't know.
Right? Were there tolls back then? I guess there were always tolls. That's where like trolls came from.
What?
Trolls. You'd have to pay the toll to the troll.
No, you'd have to answer riddles, you idiot.
No, you'd have to pay the troll. You're thinking of somebody else. You're thinking of Rumpelstiltskin.
No, you just had to guess his name.
Yeah.
You don't know anything about this.
Did you have to guess his name or get him to say his name?
You had to guess it.
I think he just had to guess it.
Yeah.
I think I'm thinking of Mr. Mistlepitalik.
Yeah.
You'd have to get him to say his name backwards.
Okay, do you have anything else to say about Grifts? We're out of time. You don't. If you like the show, do the things.
You can find out more at tcgt.com. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/complete guide. Follow us on Twitter at complete guide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Should I not scratch my face right next to this microphone as I was doing?
I couldn't hear it. Oh God.
Follow me on things at your pal Tim.
Tim, that was not, you put the microphone down by your crotch and you scratched it.
I have a beard, Tom.
Yeah, we all know about your wife. What were the other things I had to say?
I don't like you when you drink a coconut Rita.
Sorry, Tim. It's the coconut Rita talking. You can support our sponsors. You can also check out, I'm sure they're thrilled to be associated with us right now. TCG.
Oh, yeah, they're listening. Oh, the guys at Squarespace are like, yeah, let's listen an hour in.
Well, what if they're listening now? And they're like, we should go back. TCGT.com/pledge to check out our Patreon where you can get fun bonus things like bonus mini episodes. And TCGT.com/Amazon where you can do your normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill Amazon shopping while giving us a little taste of the VIG. That's kind of our own grift.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing is kind of a grift.
Oh, 100%.
This is more of a long con at this point.
Yeah, at this point, Jesus. Yeah, it better be a long. If this ends with us just like passing a bad check, then that's not going to have been worth it at all.
Over a decade of this, we made $80.
Yeah. Those idiots.
We got a round of drinks out of this. The Godfather 1, The Godfather 2, The Godfather 3, Oliver Stone's 9/11, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol.
Is that the most recent one?
And Solo, A Star Wars Story.
You didn't see that.
I did.
You plan to.
It's number 11.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? That's about as good a list as any.
Yeah. I call it Timmy's 11.
Like Ocean's 11, Timmy's 11.
Yeah, I've assembled these 11 films, and we're going to pull off a heist together.
I don't think you understand how movies work.
I don't think you understand how DVDs work.
I kind of don't, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Ones and zeros, my friend. I'll explain it to you one day.
All right. We'll see you next week.
That was a HeadGum podcast.